Okay, we talked about Cardano and the road to $2, guys. I said what needed to happen in the last video. Go back and watch it. That was about a week ago. Look at the traction that we've made since then. Where was the next resistance point? Of course, it was this trend line. So we're trying to crack this trend line now, and this is going to be the big resistance barrier before we get to the big 382 retracement from its previous all-time high. We know that we're hitting support. This is the biggest area of traded volume. We'd said that we'd get a bounce from there. We got a bounce from there. We got a reaction from there. And on the back of that, Cardano flew all the way to the top, 45%. So once we get a break of this trend, guys, then the big moves start happening, because then we're going to test the $1.32. Once we break the $1.32, the road to $2, there's little resistance as we progress. So how do you play the next Cardano move? Is it likely to pull back even further? And if it does, where is that sweet entry? And it can be difficult getting that sweet entry once Cardano's run. We said we were at a support base, so things get more difficult as you start progressing and putting in them pumps. We know by looking at the crypto bubbles, everything's green on the week, everything's rosy on the week. And we look, guys, we look at the other metrics within the crypto market. We talk about it every single time. So we look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? It's putting in new all-time highs. What's that doing? Giving confidence to the market. What needs to happen next? We talked about it on the Real Infinite Crypto channel. A big red candle to the downside, a big red candle to the downside. We'd said we were going to test this support. Go back and watch the altcoin video on Brad's channel. We said we were going to go touch this support here. What happened? We touched the support to the T, and dominance is starting to completely lose control. So that means that the bears are in control. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? It is a good thing, guys. We want the Bitcoin dominance to drop, giving people conviction that they could spend their Bitcoin, they could spend their stable coins into more on-risk assets to get bigger gains over a shorter period of time. So that's the aim of the game. That's why we look at the dominance. Dominance is dropping. All the stars need to align. Remember, guys, it needs to go from Bitcoin to Ethereum, from Ethereum to the blue chips, from the blue chips to the high risk altcoins, the degen plays. So let's go through the risk curve before we get into Cardano and understand exactly what needs to happen. Bitcoin dominance, check. Bitcoin, check. Ethereum needs to outperform Bitcoin. We know that Ethereum's beating the dollar. Ethereum needed to break through this area at 2,620. Ethereum has broken through this area. Tick. Then the next one, this is the main one, Ethereum against Bitcoin. Ethereum needs to outperform Bitcoin. And guess what's happening, guys? There's Bitcoin season. That was the last ETH season. We are at the start of the new ETH season, and Ethereum is starting to outperform Bitcoin, and it is breaking out this pattern to the upside. Once we get a break and a close above 0.0262 Satoshis, then Ethereum, guys, Ethereum is going to start outperforming big time. That's when you start seeing altcoin moves. Next thing's total three, guys. Look at this. Bam. Straight away to the T. Where was the resistance point? It was at 925 billion. Where did we expect a reaction? 925 billion. What we're waiting for, come back down, support buy, put in a higher low, bam. Test the previous all-time high of the 2021 high and then beyond, and that's my confirmation of alt season. I know we're talking about Cardano, guys, but it's all relative. What about the US dollar tether dominance? Bam, to the downside, tick. What about the Dixie? Dixie losing traction, tick. So you can see, guys, S&P holding all-time highs. Let's get back to Cardano. This is what it's about. So the road to $2 on Cardano, guys. I think that Cardano is going to put in new all-time highs. I think it's going to put in new all-time highs and beyond. We're going to do projections, but before we do the projections, we need to get past these resistance barriers. I've talked about Cardano and all-time highs before in previous videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the indicators, and we're looking for a pullback or a break and a retest. Remember, guys, you're at resistance now. Only idiots buy resistance. So we're at resistance now. We can tell because we're at this trend line, which has been rejected once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So it's been rejected 6 times. We expected that to be resistance. Not only that, guys, oversold stochastic. So you're at resistance, oversold stochastic, and then your RSI is oversold as well. So we've got 3 things telling us that we're oversold. How do you actually play this move? There's 2 ways that you can play this move, because this, guys, is a previous build-up of price action, and this is the daily chart, which lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, about 2 weeks, guys. So we broke out. So that's a build-up of price action. Expect if we pull back to pull back, and expect that to act as resistance. So if that pulls back and acts as resistance, That's putting in a higher low. That's holding that previous resistance as a confirmation support. That's what we want. During this period, we want the stochastic to come back down whilst it's giving the bulls more momentum. Remember, they're laying off at resistance, they're taking profits at resistance. That's when the bulls become the bears because they're waiting to get a cheaper price. So they're taking profits, waiting for a pullback, at this structure, previous resistance, flip support, RS flip, and then we need to maintain the 50 on the RSI to confirm that we're bullish. Above 50, we're bullish. Below 50, we're bearish. So that's the first scenario, guys. And remember, it is a probabilities game. So that's the first scenario. In my opinion, that's the most likely scenario. That's how you can play it. This support base is sat at 0.60 cents, exactly 60 cents. So if you can get a 60-cent buy, that looks good for me. None of it's financial advice, of course. So the second scenario, guys, if this move hasn't finished yet and we do actually manage to get a breakout by the end of the day, this is the second scenario. And unfortunately, this one's going to take a little bit longer to play out because what you'll tend to get is a big swing. And if we take out that previous high here, guys, then pull back, then you've got a different confirmation of support. You've got this area here, once, twice, 3, 4, an accumulation phase here. Then that would be your resistance point. So it is all about buying support and not buying resistance. Unfortunately, you've got to wait for probabilities and certain scenarios, or wait for certain scenarios and base probabilities on whatever happens, guys. So at this point now, I'm not interested in Cardano. We talked about Cardano earlier on down here. I was interested then. So I'm not interested now. There's one of two things that's going to happen. And then the next, like I say, big resistance barrier, guys, is all the way up here. 132, which is the 38.2% retracement of its previous 2021 high. That's been the barrier that we haven't overcome. That's been the barrier that we expected to get a rejection from. We've had a big pullback, hit this support base. We've got a bounce. All we need now is the break and the retest, guys. All we need a confirmation at this previous resistance to flip support at 60 cents. So we will monitor this together. Where can we monitor it together? In the Discord group, guys. Get yourself in there because that's where all the magic happens. About 350 people in here now. So that's where we talk about crypto. That's where we meet new friends, talk about Cardano, talk about all your favorite altcoins. I will see you in the next one, guys. Make sure you let me know in the comments exactly whether you found this useful, what you want me to cover next. See you in the next one.